Good afternoon, everyone. This is Steve at Little Treasury Jewelers. This is my inaugural flight going solo with the live streaming out of Little Treasury Jewelers. And I'm hoping that I'm being heard well. I see we have a follower or two on, and if you could just post on how the sound and video is, that would help me get going and move on to the content and whatever. But we appreciate your getting on. Okay, I'm hoping you're hearing. So this is sort of like sailing a multi-person sailboat solo for the first time. There's a lot of buttons and things that Craig does so well, and takes a little bit of practice, and I hope I'll get it right for you folks and have something enjoyable. So I want to talk a little bit about what we're up to here. Part of this is wanting to know what you all are interested in so that we can frame future programs to meet your interests. And I hope you'll add that to the comments for today's show. Very important to us to provide what you want to hear. And we'd also like to learn about other interests that you have besides watches. I think I raised that issue briefly and got cut off with a discussion earlier on. But what are your hobbies? What else do you collect? What are your passions beside watches? I think it's an interesting topic that usually people who have strong interest in timepieces also have some passions that are interesting for everybody, and we'd like to share those. So also, we intend to give you news here. We're going to let you know what's coming down the pike when we go to shows and watch buying events. We're going to report on those, and hopefully you'll hear it from us first. And we will let you know about things we're planning to do, and watch lines and others that we're bringing aboard. So this week, I'm not going, but my wife and Ethan, one of our leading watch guys, are going to Couture Time out in Las Vegas, as well as the Couture Jewelry Show. It's mainly a jewelry show, I would say, that and JCK, which run adjacently. And they'll be attending some additional watch vendor meetings that we didn't cover in Basel, and hopefully we'll be getting back some reports. So, and we also are going to hopefully be finalizing a deal on a new watch line that we'll be bringing in. It'll be more in the flavor, of our more niche brands, something that's not widely available in retailers, and we think it'll be a lot of fun for everyone. And until they come in the door, we're not going to announce what that's going to be. So you're certainly welcome to guess. So let me take a little look at the comments here. And, oh good, I'm glad to hear that the sound and everything is working well. And good, and video, and okay, very good. And okay, more about Omega evolving, Dave would like to know. And Carlos would like to know about the watch's supply chain. And Ray would like scotch and cigars. And Ray, since you were in the store yesterday, I'm wondering if you ended up at the Titan cigar friend just down the street from us that I recommended that you and your crew go to. So Okay, great questions. How many customers seek out one truly great watch versus multiples in collections? Um, do men or their wives, significant others, make initial purchases? Wow. Um, okay. A lot of good questions. And looks like things are going smoothly. I think I do a little better when I don't have Craig's coaching uh, minute to minute. Sorry, Craig, but I know you're on another show that you're simultaneously on your channel. So, okay. Um, and just want to point out that this streaming thing is working out really nicely. Yesterday, we didn't have a huge amount of traffic, but we had uh, guests from all over, from people stopping in from Denver, from LA, from Minnesota, from Wichita, from as well as from Baltimore and Bethesda. And a good number of these are reporting that they've seen us on Craig's channel. And I think an exciting thing has been um, that sometimes locally we're probably better known throughout the country than we are extremely locally. And uh, we have people come in who live within a mile of us who are watch fanatics, and they come in, they say, I saw a little fragment on YouTube about the watch store in Gambrels, and I looked you up in Little Treasury. I drive by your store almost every day, and I had no idea what was inside. And the gentleman was really, really excited and toured the whole store. And this kind of thing happens more and more, that somehow through this medium we're reaching out and finding all kinds of folks that should have known about us. We do a lot of advertising locally in print, TV, radio, direct mail, whatever we can do. And no matter what, we seem to miss a lot of folks who have a strong interest in watches. So we think this is really a good way to reach out. Appreciate everybody on. It looks like we have quite a few folks on here right now. And let's see what we can do. Let's answer a couple of questions here. Um, so more about our relationship with Omega, Dave asks. Well, it's evolving. Sales are coming along nicely. We have a lot of new pieces coming in from the Basel order. We have a couple of the uh, moon watches, the 50th anniversary that were announced coming in. Unfortunately, for those who are interested, they are spoken for, sort of grabbed up immediately. It's an immense brand. If you just look at the straps and bracelets and clasp catalog, it's hundreds of pages long, extremely detailed. They're really on top of how everything fits together. We're very pleased. We have a wonderful rep who's been our champion from the beginning, and so we're happy. It's progressing well. We're still learning about the line. There's a great deal of training that off-site training that we need to attend to, and we hope in the next month or two that'll be scheduled in our area, and we'll be on it. And I would say that our watch guys on staff are about a half a mile ahead of me. I have enough keeping up with Craig and the streaming right now, replacing my watch studies. So, but we'll be on it, and we're happy to answer any questions you may have. Okay, so Carlos asks, like to know more about the watch's supply chain, and by that I'm imagining that you're asking about how we source watches and how we get them, and how they get out the door. And in our case, We do a lot of our prospecting for new relationships in Basel or in late May, June in Couture Time or JCK, where we've also met brands that don't exhibit um, overseas in Basel. However, since we've achieved a certain amount of notoriety, we do have many brands knocking on our door, wanting to have some shelf space, and unfortunately we can't accommodate everybody. But we do, from time to time, have what we call guest appearances by brands in our watch events, and we're planning to do that in our watch event, multi-brand event that's in October, which will this year will be the 18th and 19th, and you should put it on your calendar. I think we're going to draw a lot of you folks from out of town, and so I have a couple of brands that are going to try out, and they'll bring their wares and show, and at the proper time when everything is cemented, we will announce who they are, and that's one of the ways that we sort of test out what draws interest, what's appropriate for us. Anyhow, in terms of our life, the supply chain often devolves into relationships with distributors, and those distributors would be located in the U.S. They might have the U.S. market for a particular brand, and some simply broker, and some actually have to purchase product and then are responsible for selling it and marketing it in the country. And larger brands such as Omega and Grand Seiko have actual presences, if that's a word, presences here in the U.S. In the case of Grand Seiko, they've actually formed a corporation, Grand Seiko USA, which is its own corporate identity. And they have more or less full capability to serve the market in terms of marketing, distribution. They have their warehouses and ship from the warehouses, and we deal with them that way. Smaller companies may have a smaller presence, say a New York office with several people. They might have a small amount of inventory on hand, and if there are things that are unusual or not necessarily current, they'll be shipped from overseas to us. So it's always various how it works, and of course, this is us as an authorized dealer. I think a lot of you will be familiar. There's a gray market out there. We don't play, and these are people who have acquired timepieces somehow, either from manufacturers that are unloading last year's product, or dealers who perhaps aren't selling through and take the route of selling to the trade sort of undercover. So that's not our world, but that's another means. So Carlos, I'm not sure if this answers your question. Hopefully it does. If not, ask some more and I'll tell you what I know. So that's what goes on with that. So let's see. Steve is the real James Bond. Yeah, I don't think so. Hello, Thomas. Oh boy, we got a lot of guys around here. We must be sucking Craig's show dry. Okay, Dave Williams suggests a new brand, ZRC, Geneva-based dive watch, and very popular in France. So if any others of you are familiar with it, I'd like to hear you weigh in on ZRC. We definitely can take a look. And Dave, is that distributed yet in the U.S. or is it not here yet? So, okay. Der Stiefel, hey, how are you, sir? Good to hear from you. And, oh, Chi-Town, California. Steve, is it true that Swatch Group requires Omega ADs also to sell Rado watches? So far, that's not the case, not for here, although I know one of my friends is selling Omega and Rado, and hopefully selling well. But we haven't been given that request yet, and hopefully we'll skip. We have enough other brands in the pipeline that we're looking at. So that's that with that. So, okay, a couple of new faces. 21 Up Bowls. Hi, how are you? And great. So, forging ahead, I want to talk a little bit about some fun watches for summer. Sometimes I feel the channel gets a little too serious, and we don't hear much talk about what I consider sort of fun watches, and so I'm going to go through a couple of those and see if I can provoke some trouble. So let me switch over to my first, what I would call a fun watch. This is a Zannetti dive watch. This is made in Rome, Italy. It has, each piece is fairly unique. There's a lot of handwork that goes into, especially their dials and their cases. Just to disclose up front, they're not a movement maker, and they use adapted ETA and maybe even some cases Solita movements. So that's not what they're about. They're about unique designs. This one is the Piranha, and it is semi-skeletonized dial. And if I get in the right light, you can see the little Piranha there, hopefully. And this has nice lume, which I can show you. And I think a nice feature is, a cute feature, the eyes and the teeth of the Piranha are illuminated as well. And so this is sort of what I mean by a fun watch. It's really well made. There's a great deal of hand done detail in it, and it's lighthearted. And we like these along with the more serious pieces, quote serious pieces that we have in the store and that are more frequently discussed. So here we go. Take a look at the profile of it. And the case back has trident and a couple of fish, if you can see that well. So this is typical of Zannetti's detail on everything, pretty much. And so we have a lot of fun with the brand. We've done some custom pieces for customers who have an idea about a dial, and we have them make one of one. They do a really great job at a surprisingly good price. So if there are any questions on that or comments I can answer, then we'll move on. Okay. So here's another fun thing from our collection. And if I can get this focused in. Yeah, pretty good. So this is from Alexander Shorokhoff. And Alexander, mentioned before on different shows with Craig, is a fascinating gentleman who emigrated 40-some years ago from the Soviet Union after Perestroika and started a watch business in a little village in Germany called Alzenau. And he makes watches at all ends of the price spectrum. And this is one of the more affordable pieces. It's called Day-Night. and or Night-Day. I'm sorry, got it backwards. And so you can see that the 24-hour indicators, the night hours are in the lower half and the day in the top half. I'm not sure if you can see the smiling sun, which is at 10 o'clock, probably not very well, and the moon down at the bottom, and mother of pearl on the white and the green. And looking for my light, here it is. So that also has a nice loom, and with his avant-garde lines, he sort of does the 60, 20, 40 is sort of one of the themes he pursues in his watch design. And give you a little profile. And the watch back. So this is a manual wind. I believe this is a Polyot movement. He does a lot of things with Polyot, and as well as ETA and whatever, and nicely engraved. And he does some really good engraving. He hired an engraver from one of the top companies in Germany, or the top company, and so she does a fabulous job. And this watch is priced at just $1,350. So a fun watch to put on, have fun with for the summer months. So, okay, here's another one, and get that dialed in. So this is the Bremont Waterman, and it's a bit of a beast. It is rated at 500 meters and very attractive blue and white with red accents design. And give you a little of the loom. And by the way, it's a sapphire bezel on this. And not going to be the thinnest watch in your case, but it does have the typical Bremont triptych case, three-part case, with an upper piece with integrated lugs, a barrel piece which is black, and a case back, and the very short lugs make this a pretty wearable watch. And dimensionally, that is it's 43 millimeters and it's 16.7 millimeters thick. So it's really not bad to wear. It's and pretty nice rugged watch for summer water use, being the Waterman. So I like Chi-Town, California. Likes the Bremont, has an unapologetically nautical theme to it. I probably will be using that. Unapologetically nautical. Good one. So now we come down to a NOMOS. This guy is called the Autobahn, and it was a new design last year. Caused a bit of controversy because it got a little too playful for the NOMOS aficionados, serious ones. And however, it's gone on to win a number of design awards, despite that dissatisfaction. So, pretty cool watch. I understand that you can see the beveled edge to the subdial, and it's also smoothly beveled from the edges of the case. Apparently, very difficult to make. And again, nice, sporty loom, and that blue portions, or the speedometer thing, also shows illumination. Okay, and this has their outstanding date function. And let me just take this off. Well, first, before I show you that, I'm going to show you the movement. So I assume all of you know that all of the NOMOS movements are in-house, and that means everything in-house. So quite an accomplishment for a company founded almost from scratch in the 1990s, early 1990s, with the sole goal of producing a watch with no frills and with totally in-house independent movement making. So pretty beautiful movement, I might say. So let's look at the function of the date. So you can just simply rotate the date either direction, and very easy to set. If you're familiar with earlier German date wheel technology, some of the movements actually required you to rotate the entire thing through the month, rotating the full 24 hours. And then it went to what I call it a German quick set that you would have to rock back and forth between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. to advance the date. So pretty nice piece. Also comes with different colors. There's a white dial, and I believe a blue dial as well. So again, very sporty. So there's a theme through here. My summer watches were, and that's it. I mean, that's all the watches I'm going to show you today. They all are sort of fun, and they are all not Swiss. So I wonder if that's something about the Swiss watch industry and fun, something to that effect. So it looks like a lot of the more whimsical, somewhat lighthearted pieces come from Germany, Italy, UK, whatever. So take that for what it's worth. So one other topic. Let's take a look at your comments here. It is quite a thick watch, Thomas, the Bremont, and I think it's pretty wearable for a thick watch. I wear a Bremont usually as my daily wear. It's also not particularly thin, but with those short lugs, they really seem to work it out, so it's very wearable pieces. But again, you got a 500-meter watch here, and very pretty in my opinion. So for what that's worth. Clive, I think Chip's on his own channel. We're sort of doing a mono here, and I think I got all the good guys over here. So sorry, Chip. So let's see. Oh boy, German watches, Heil orology. Oof, easy. Um, okay, I'm Craig mutated. Right. Um, okay, and ah, any word on the 9F Quartz divers getting released next month? Any chance for sales in the U.S.? Not sure. We'll have to check on that when we see them or our representatives see them in Las Vegas at the end of the week. Um, okay, Craig has joined us. Welcome, Craig. Thanks for coming aboard. I think we're cruising along okay without any major faux pas so far, but you might find one or two. Um, so that said, um, uh, Grand Seiko is going to be releasing 4 new U.S. only models in this week at Las Vegas. So we're going to try to be on it as soon as possible. And on Friday, we have a meeting, and my guy, Ethan, has been instructed to try to live stream in. I'm going to try to coordinate a time with him and go live here and have him Skype in with a few of the timepieces and see if that'll work. If I can figure out how to handle a Skype in the way Craig does so marvelously. So that's that one. So, oh, faux pas with a PH, definitely. That's the Greek faux pas. And blue shirt Buddha's in. And make sure your paws are real, fellas. Woo! Punster, Clive. And okay. So one other topic. Just want to get an opinion on this. People have been talking about Citizen a bit. And let me just pop this up. So I need to adjust this a little bit if I can. Okay, so here we have, I've grabbed something from Hodinkee, and a nice article on a Citizen Eco Drive Caliber 0100, the most accurate watch ever made. And this is accurate to 1 second a year, according to their specs. And actually, it's quite a great achievement. And that piece is white gold, and it is 14,000 and change, I believe. And this black version with a bracelet is titanium, and that comes in at and this is, I believe, a limited edition of 500 pieces, and it comes in at 7,000 and change. And it's also a mother of pearl one, which I don't think is shown here. And so they're going to be very scarce, very expensive. Okay, here's the mother of pearl. And here's the basics. 37.5 millimeters by 9.1. And 50 meters rating if you want to take it underwater. And here we go. Here's the price. 100 pieces in white gold, and 500 of the titanium with the black dial. and it looks like 30 pieces are coming to the U.S. in white gold, and uh, uh, I'm not sure, a very low number also of the titanium with black dial. Apparently the mother of pearl is not coming. So, question to you. We always buy the top citizen. We had the Eco Drive 1, which was about a $7,000 piece, 6 or 7,000 several years ago. I think we sold 3 or 4 of the 30 or so that came in the country. And if you were me, which, if any, of these would you buy? And if you are you, would you buy one? So I'd like to have you guys weigh in, give me a little help. That's part of what I hope this channel will do. Okay? Plus or minus a second or 1 second a year is awesome. And it's bragging rights and Eco Drive, so no battery required. And gives our Grand Seiko a little bit of a run for money. And perhaps not as beautiful a case. So maybe you can weigh in on that. And so this has been pretty much a Grand Seiko-less day, and I'm about ready to wrap it up. And so Clive says, wait, 30 pieces. Oh, not silver. No, those are white gold. Okay. And yes, it is quite expensive. And usually there's someone who's going to buy those. So I hope you'll give me a little feedback, everybody. So I'm about ready to wrap this dog up. I won't steal Craig's thunder. And I'm trying to get back to me. Oh. There we go. And I've enjoyed having you all, and it's been a really good turnout. And let's see some okay. You're talking about the 10 carat Omega Speedmaster, Peter. You're talking about the 18 carat. Or is there something I don't know about? We're not getting the gold, okay? But as a new dealer, that wasn't available to us, so we got several of the stainless. Okay. Okay, Thomas thinks I should get the mother of pearl. Yeah, if I dig it out, we might get the only one here in the U.S. Okay. All right. Craig, anything to say? No, maybe he's gone. So I am going to sign off. It's been very pleasant spending time with you. And watch for our next show. We'll give you a little bit more advance notice. And I'm very grateful and honored that all of you have signed on for this. And have a good evening, or whatever time it is where you're watching. Okay? So that's it. And I am over and out.